Hello again there, garden friends. Welcome back for another episode of Field Trippin'. I'm your host, Kevin Jordan. Welcome to my worm bins. Today's episode is all about worm composting. I've heard a lot of questions about it recently. A lot of folks trying it out for the first time, and I highly recommend worm composting, vermicompost. We use red wiggler worms. There might be some other varieties out there that are capable as well, but those are the best. We got ours out in Galt years ago, and now they've been doing great for us. We've grown in everything from small plastic bins that we made up to be good worm bins, and you can have some success with those. But I highly recommend, if you have the space, upgrading to some wood, because there's so many benefits to it. And here, I'll show you some of the features of ours right now and how they work. I'm getting sprayed in my back because I got a mister built into the lid of this. All of ours have lids, and what's nice about that, we painted the outside. These were all made from basically recycled redwood. We had some redwood beds that we were growing in for years. And then those had to come out because we were updating our garden beds, but the wood was still perfect, barely even rotted. We took it out, cut it to size, and we made some wonderful worm bins. Like I said, compared to the plastic bins, I feel like they definitely outperform them. You can have a ton of success doing a worm bin into plastic, but I think with this wood design, and maybe you could do your own design tweak on it, I think you just ends up having, better, there's more insulation, there's better airflow, there's more space. It's a lot more stress. The strength of it is stronger, it's more durable. And so I think there's a lot of features in there that definitely lead it to be a little more successful. So here, let me show you some close-ups, and we'll talk more about the worm bins. So first thing you notice underneath our worm bin is we have a gap of light down there. We have up on cinder block bricks, and that's really important because you want some airflow underneath there. You don't want your worms all to hide underneath right there where it would meet the concrete, and so we want some airflow under there, some light and air to flow underneath our worm bin, so that way we don't lose any worms, and that way we just get proper drainage as well. So you can see I even have, I think our chef somebody put in some cardboard in there. So wet cardboard works great as a bedding. They'll end up eating it like a food source. So it's kind of like having an edible home. Normally, I'll show another video soon, and I'll show you kind of the best practices of the best ways to feed your worm bin. But you can see some examples right here of what I think just last week I threw in some spaghetti squash that was actually growing out of our hot compost pile. And so let's see if there's any worm activity there. Oh yeah, so you can see lots of worms in here. Oh, here we go, look at that, hanging out right there. So lots of worms all in here, and if you dig down, you can kind of see, look at this. This is what happens when cardboard gets in there. This is the only thing they won't eat. This is like the tape off of some material that must have went in there, some old cardboard that didn't get tape that didn't get removed. But you can see they're even picking clean all the glue off of it, and every last little bit of remnants of food that might be sitting on near that. But you can see that here's an old piece of pineapple, and it's rotting. But you can see, look at that, they're eating it up. And what we're really after in your worm bin is your worm compost. And so you can see this one's going pretty good. You can see right here, like I said, I had a mister installed, because one of the things that you don't want to have happen in your compost bin is it to dry out completely. Worms, they're always wet and kind of moist little creatures. And see here, I'll dig around so you can keep seeing. They definitely need moisture. It doesn't mean they want to be floating. Oh, there we go. It doesn't mean they want to be floating around in water all day, every day. But you can see they're a moist little creature, just like humans. We're actually, what, 2/3 water as well. I'd be curious to know what their percentage is. So water is very important to them, but that's also why I have the drainage factor in here. And on the bottom of our bin, you can see I got 4x4 posts in the corner. Like I said, we made it out of scrap, so you can see it was literally lots of little other pieces that we used. We didn't buy anything other than maybe the screws to put this together, and then maybe the hinges. I'm not sure if I had those laying around, but like you can see, I have hardware cloth, which is actually like a metal mesh, and that's in the corner, and that's actually stapled. So we flip this upside down, it'd be stapled strongly and firmly in place. You could even use small screws if needed. I think when I do a new version, I'll probably put a thin layer of landscape fabric and then the metal mesh, and that might just keep me from losing any material out the bottom that I don't want to, because I can always go underneath there and scoop it up. But I think the landscape fabric might do a great job, the weed barrier, because it'll keep all the castings in, but still let air and moisture move about. And then have the hardware cloth to kind of strengthen it up. And then also, that also keeps things like rodents and other creatures, they don't chew through that too well. So that keeps them out. People always ask me, hey, do you have a lot of pests in here? Take a look for yourself. You know, when we used to do the plastic bins, we'd get like rats and stuff jumping in through the top, and you know, it was freaky. You know, it was not cool. But since we've done these with the closable lid, it's like, all right, bye-bye. Now it's all in there insulated. Like I said, that, oh, my glove got caught. It got all insulated in there, and so now that those worms are cool, I noticed that, yeah, compared to the plastic, it doesn't heat up as much. Oftentimes our plastic bins, if we didn't have them perfectly in the shade or whatever, they'd really get cooked, and it would not be good. So in here you can see some stuff, you know, oh god, molding up. And then you can see right here is a good example of different ages. You can see the small white ones in there, those are the babies, right? And they'll hatch out of little eggs that look like little golden grains of rice. And so in this one right here, I think I can almost tell, oh, there you go, that's misting. That it just, this one was not looking too great. So it was our smallest bin. You can see still has a lot of material uneaten. Sometimes if the seeds aren't wet enough, they won't eat it. Like I said, I can already feel this material right here. It's dry. And so it's not as moist as it needs to be. I'll probably have to put another mister in this one just to get a little bit more moisture in here. Sometimes the misters get clogged, but even in here, with this one not doing that great, there's still lots of worms in there. So you know, if I give it a little effort, I think this worm bin will come back. But you can see right here, so that, yeah, all made from scrap, 4x4 corners, mesh screwed to the bottom, easy peasy, a lid for closing to keep creatures out. I might get the occasional slug or something in there, or we've had a tree frog get trapped in there that we helped get out and back into the garden. But if you do it proper, you really won't get a lot of bugs and other creatures in there that aren't what you want. And the other bins, the plastic ones we've had in the past, we've had more problems with you know, mold and fungus and just smells and whatever. And so in here you can see them doing really good. Here's a piece that I put in last week. Let's see if there's any creatures in here eating on it. Oh yeah, I can see them right there, right below the surface. And you can see that right there, that's what's piled up. That's what we're after, is that. That's the whole point. So the whole point of this is for this. And that's all worm poop. That's vermicompost. This is a super good soil amendment. You can add it to your soil, you can mix it in. We'll do videos on making worm tea. Don't drink it, it's for your plants. But it's full of microorganisms, full of beneficial bacteria and fungi, but really full of an organic matter that'll build up your soil, and full of all the nutrients that your plants require for healthy growth. And so that's the whole point of these gardens, is for, or of these, these compost systems, is to get this. Luckily for us, we also can use the worms as food, as a food source for our fish. And we'll show a video of that later in the week when we start feeding our fish a bit. So that wraps up this video. I hope you learned a little bit. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments below, and we'll talk about it. We'll think about it. We'll hammer it out. I think later in the week, I'm going to plan on maybe building a smaller version. If I can look around and find enough scrap pieces, maybe we can build one and film that to kind of show you step by step. But really, I'm not Bob Vila or Tim Taylor or anything here. But now if I can build this, you can too. So from our garden to yours, happy gardening and best wishes. Well, if you found this video enjoyable, please hit that subscribe button. It would really help me out. Thank you.